Oh boy, it's going to be a good day. The reason why it's going to be a good day is because I am operating my favorite concrete pump of all time. Putzmeister 38 meter 5-section Z-boom. Regular operator is on holidays today, so I get to go out and have some fun. So we got a little bit of an interesting one here. What we are pouring is concrete encasement for all these columns here. Now, what I think I'm going to do, rather than just running a whip hose and trying to boom in close enough to get the hose over those columns, which isn't going to happen because of the angle of the roof there, the pitch of the roof line. I think what I'm going to do, I've got a nice small rock mix here. I'm going to use a smaller hose, a 2.5-inch diameter hose with a 20-foot length. Just come in about this close, and they've got their scaffold there, and I'll let them drape that small hose across the scaffold and hit the columns. But try and do it with a whip hose, they're going to have the big heavy hose to deal with. I think it's actually just going to be more difficult for them. So we'll pour one column, fold the hose over, they can chuck it off the scaffold, I'll just drag it along to the next column, and we'll just work our way along like that. There is lots of ceiling height in here in the middle. It's got to be 60 feet up there. So that's not a problem for this pump. It'll be, that should be pretty straightforward. It'll be a little bit of a tedious pour here. We got, what, 10 of these columns to do in total. It's only about one load of concrete. But yeah, I think that's how we're going to tackle this. Subject to change. We'll see how it looks here once we get set up. So get the legs out, get the boom up, and go from there. Right, here we go. This is Derek. Derek really wants to be in a video. I'm gonna make you famous. Okay, here we go, up and out of the cradle. We'll do a little trial run here and see how this looks. Fun fact, the boom is coming off of the passenger side. I do know this because I climbed up on the pump to check which way the lines are wrapped around in the turret. The reason why I do that, especially on this machine, for whatever reason, they've chosen to mount the limit switches outside of the turret, and when loading and unloading hoses they can actually get bumped, and it is possible to have the boom spinning off the side, which it shouldn't be, and possible to tear those lines out. So as a habit, unless I'm the last guy that ran the pump, which in this case today I'm not, I always climb up there and I will double check. So let's just do a little run here and see how this looks. It's actually going to be a little tighter than I thought here. We're going to have some fun. Tough to see, but there is a little wire that runs from that lowest point of the ceiling all the way back. So you got to keep mindful of that. Let's just see what we can do here. My prediction is we'll find a way to make it work because we don't really have a whole lot of other choices here. And that 3-inch whip hose should come flopping out of there anytime now. Oh, there we go. The nice thing about this RZ boom, you can fold up with a hose attached. It just falls right into the hose cradle. Let's see what we're going to do. Derek's concerned, I can tell. He's got no faith in me. All these years together, no faith. Oh, I think this is going to work. I'm getting excited. Now, obviously, as we work further away from the pump, it will get easier. But this corner here is going to be the most challenging. Let's just see what we're going to do. You know what? I think I'm going to renege on my initial plan of using a long 2.5-inch hose, because I don't want to have to deal with the extra length of the reducer and the required height. And I think this is kind of how we're gonna have to do this. Do I want that extra 2.5-inch reducer on there and use the long hose? I kind of do. But you know what? It's gonna screw me when I come back to it. Let's just see. Let's just see. What do I want? If I was a real hero, I'd pour right out of the elbow, which I probably could do, but it's going to make an absolute mess for these guys. But I'm looking at this right now, and I'm strongly considering doing so. All right, we've adjusted the plan. You can tell by the grease gun and associated tools on the ground there. We're trying to do this out of the elbow. And cleaned up and greased the gasket for easy swiveling action. Another trial run. Let's see how this goes. Just got filthy. No biggie. Okay. What's that? It can, yep. This is going to be a real test today. I was not expecting this to be as difficult as it is proving to be. We will persevere. Because we almost always do. Okay, so this is how we're going to rock it today then. We are going to pump right out of the elbow into the columns, and then in an effort to try and not make a mess and drip concrete on the ground, what I'll do when each column is full, I have a sponge I'll put in the elbow. I'll do a couple strokes back just to hold the sponge there while we swing over to the next one. And life should be good. So my biggest concern is that second column in there. So let's swing over there and see how this looks. Let's see if we can do it. I think we can do it. Putzmeister 38.5 never ceases to amaze. Oh, here we go. I think it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Way to go, team. Okay, we're gonna make this work. All right, so that's the final plan. Quite a deviation from the initial plan. We went from talking about a 3-inch whip hose to 2.5-inch whip hose to no hose whatsoever. So this will be good. Just gonna have to be really, really careful with the guys working right next to the boom and the elbow like that. But we'll get her done. All right, so while we're waiting around here, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the pump truck that I love so dearly. 38.5 Putz. What I love about it, just the way the individual section lengths are broken down. It has very, very few dead spots. Super versatile boom. The RZ is great. I would agree that a ZR boom sometimes can be better for working underneath trees, power lines, things like that. But overall, this, I think RZ is the way to go. I really like this one. This is a 2017 model. So they have since updated the pedestal on the newer 38.5s. So this one, the spread in the front is about 21 feet. It's about 23.5 feet in the rear. The newer model is smaller in the front at about 19 feet, but the rear spread increases to about 25. I'm kind of more of a fan of this. I like a more square setup, front and rear. So I'm pretty happy with this one, obviously. And I'm making a video about it. The Peterbilt truck. Love it. The only thing that sucks in comparison to a Mac is the visibility, just because the windows on the side are up so high, you end up with some pretty decent blind spots. So you got to kind of use a little bit of a combination of two convex mirrors to see what's beside you. My very, very favorite thing about this, besides the Cummins engine, get ready for this. This is the best part. Ho, ho, ho. Automatic, baby. So where you normally have your shifter for your manual transmission, you've got a perfect spot to sit your sandwich. So no, it works out really, really well. It makes it super nice to drive. It is, I will say, it is a little bit bouncier in the front end than a Mac, and it just doesn't feel quite as heavy. But as far as the drive, it's so much nicer. It's like a Cadillac in comparison. I'm gonna prime out with water today. I made a video a while back where I primed out with slick pack and everybody made fun of me and called me names.
Really?
Yeah. So we're gonna do just water. Once I figure out how to turn this vibrator off. Something like that. Okay. One sec. Uh-oh. Okay, good enough. I don't think the driver heard me there. He filled me up before I got my water in. It's okay though, I'm confident. We still got a little bit in there. We got enough in front of the concrete, we'll be fine. So now I'm gonna swing over here. A minor miscommunication, but we will persevere. That guy's one of my favorite drivers, so he's really good typically. I think I faked him out by telling him that we were actually gonna video this. Got nervous, dropped the ball. So they're gonna start over on this bar column here. And this is actually a fairly terrible position for priming out a boom, having the last two sections horizontal like that. But nice small rock mix. We're just going out at a 5-inch elbow, so I am extremely confident that we will make it. And I can adjust here to get a little bit of slope on those last two sections. We'll be good. Yeah, this is a fun one. Yes, Derek, I know there's a scaffold in the way. I know, I can see. I can see. We got a little bit of a nervous Nelly over here. Get a little better perspective here.
I can get this one in place though.
Oh, whatever, just makes it more fun. Actually, knuckle's gonna end up right on that highest part of the scaffold. It would be helpful if they move it. There we go. All right. Get this right on top of the wall. Okay, I'll leave that there. As the boom fills up, it's gonna drop down a foot or two. As this fills up, I'm going to kick that third section out to compensate for the droop, thus moving the elbow closer to where Derek there actually wants it. I think he'll be happy with what we achieved here. He's doubting me, but it's okay. It's that kind of relationship. Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Oh, I hope we make it. I hope we make it. There we go. I knew we could make it. So we're going to fill the column up, and then when it's full, Derek's going to put the sponge in the elbow. I'll take it back a stroke. Oh, take this out a little bit. There we go. Not a rubber hose, guys. No need to touch the elbow. It's a control issue. Alright, so we're about 2 feet from the top on this column. So Derek's going to let me know when they're about a foot from being full. I will stop the pump. I will let the boom drain into the column. And when they have enough concrete, Derek is going to swiftly and efficiently put that sponge ball in the elbow, and I'll pull back about 2 strokes just to hold up the boom while I jump to the next one. And then I will, a couple strokes in forward, part the sponge out into the next column. Not actually into the column, but on top of the column. The steel's nice and tight, so we will not lose the sponge ball, because we don't want to waste $8 on a perfectly good sponge. And yeah, that's the plan. Let's see how it works out here. Alright, Derek, get your sponge ready, buddy. Here he goes. Volume up. Sponge in there, a couple shots back. Come on, buddy. You can do it. You can do it. I think you can do it. Maybe you can't do it. Oh, one sec. Ah! My hopper grate came up. One sec. So our sponge trick did not work, so we're going to swing over the next column here. There we go. Derek, maybe just step away from it while I move it. Yeah. The sponge trick did not work. The concrete's a little bit too dry. We didn't shut it off early enough. Pipes are too full. So we're just going to swing over without the sponge in there to our next column. And it seems to be working okay though. Concrete being dry is actually helping us, keeping it from dripping out. But we're going to try on the next one, cutting the pump off a little bit earlier. The pipes are somewhat empty. And also this concrete, we didn't wet them up, so it should be coming through a wetter pretty soon here, which will also help or potentially hurt our case actually, considering this is actually working pretty good right now. So anyhow, let's maneuver over to our next column here. Good times. And as I work my way down here, they're going to get more difficult as we get closer to the pump. They'll get a little bit more tricky. That's okay. It's like a warm-up. We're warming up for the hard stuff here, right? Something like that. What makes this even worse is it's really cold today and my hands are starting to freeze. I always hate that. One thing I didn't mind about black and white controls, you just slap them around with your big old frozen meat hooks. Not so much with proportional. Alright, we're in. You will reconvene when we try round 2 of the sponge suckback method.
Try the ball this time, Scott.
Try it once more. I'm having my doubts as to whether it'll work or not. Okay, let her drain and... Let it drip a little bit more first. You might end up with a little bit extra, but okay, here we go. I'm gonna call this an abysmal failure. Note to self, build 5-inch cap at shop.
Yes.
For when the next one of these pours comes up. Actually, yeah, there is another one coming up.
Yeah,
I was gonna say this is about a once every 10-year occurrence, but okay. I'll swing it over and try and be clean about it. Well, now you're just making it tougher for me to get out of there, but that's a good idea what you've done there. Now you're thinking. We'll just leave our elbow in the erect position, as the sponge ball method was an abysmal failure. For the next pour here to make a 5-inch cap, that would be pretty handy. Anyhow, what I do like about this boom is that third knuckle, or the I guess I should call it the CD knuckle, actually has clearance to overlap the main section from a halfway point up, so you can come right back over itself. It's very, very well thought out. Very handy in situations like this. Because what we're going to do is we're going to utilize that clearance. As you can see. Swing over a little bit. Something like this. We'll call that happy. You ready for the outro? Okay. We promised Derek, or Bob? Derek. Goes by Bob, that's his nickname. Promised that we'd end it like this. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us on today's concrete pumping adventure. I appreciate you sitting along for the duration of this slow pour. And yeah, I guess we'll catch you on the next video. Anything you want to say, Derek?
Yeah, thanks very much for joining us on this beautiful concrete pour today here in North Vancouver, BC.
You can catch Derek on Instagram at Sutherland Concrete 2019. Spelled S-U-T-H-E-R-L-A-N-D. Sutherland Concrete 2019. Over and out.